Boo! I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. It's Monday, October 31st, Halloween, and I can't think of anything scarier than waking up about 9 days from now and finding out that Donald Trump will be President of the United States. The polls show that he's creeping closer to Hillary Clinton. Dead heat by some polls accounts. Those are national vote totals. They're not necessarily the same thing as how the electoral vote's looking. Some of the best analysts still say the poll shows Hillary with a fairly commanding lead in the electoral vote count and a path to victory, but nobody is really sure what the fallout's going to be from the great email scandal that broke last Friday, and I use scandal, I should have put it in quotes. James Comey, the director of the FBI, as you know, said they're going to review some more emails found on Huma Abedin's home computer. She's Hillary Clinton's top aide. The odds are that most of these emails have been seen by the FBI before. Some reports have said there are no emails from Hillary Clinton. There's a lot we don't know. There's certainly enough there for the Republicans to stir up the email issue once more and make that become the dominant conversation on the political scene. Will it have an effect? It seems likely to have at least some. It doesn't seem to have had the same degree of effect, according to polls that have been taken since it broke, as the tape of Donald Trump saying unmentionable things seems to have had. So we'll hear. We're again in a situation with 8 days to go. Who knows what will happen next? I don't think we've necessarily heard the end of it all. In Arkansas today, proponents of Issue 7, the Medicinal Marijuana Initiated Act, filed a petition for rehearing with the Arkansas Supreme Court on its decision last week to throw it off the ballot. These rehearings are rarely granted. I think they make a good point. One of them is that the law that put new restrictions on petition gathering on paid canvassers essentially was unconstitutional. It added unconstitutional limits to getting on the ballot, which Amendment 7 of the Arkansas Constitution has some pretty strong words about. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court has pretty well decided this issue once before, wrongly I thought at the time, but they opened the door to some of these very vexatious restrictions that made it hard for this group to get the signatures it needed using unpaid volunteers. The other argument is that a number of people, 100,000 or so, didn't get the full and equal access to the ballot that other people will get. They thought both measures were going to be on there. Some voted for 7 and against 6. Had they known 6 was going to survive and 7 wouldn't have, they might have voted for 6. That's a medical marijuana amendment. That's why I said some weeks ago, if you believe in medical marijuana, you should vote for both just to be safe. But what we've got now is a fine mess, and there's another lawyer in Little Rock that's still looking at other legal action over this, so this story hasn't yet gone to bed. Speaking of judges and elections, in Faulkner County today, David Clark, the circuit judge there, put off until the day after the election a decision on whether Margaret Darter, the Farmer County clerk, a Republican in Faulkner County, is eligible to run again. She resigned her office a couple of weeks ago, admitting dishonesty in backdating forms filed by public officials so they wouldn't get caught missing the deadline on ethics forms. Admitted dishonesty is not a disqualifier for the Republican Party. They're putting her up again and fighting fiercely for her right to run again for this office, which she currently doesn't hold because she admitted in court she was dishonest. The judge said that the ballot should not be counted, but the election can proceed, and the day after the election, he'll decide whether she meets the constitutional standard for being disqualified from running. Perhaps he's hoping the people of Faulkner County will do the right thing and reject a person who's running for an office that she dishonestly handled. But that may be asking a lot from the county that's elected quite a few unusual representatives to the Capitol and other places. Been a spate of robberies in Hillcrest, be warning. That's kind of our franchise territory. A couple Saturday night in the Kroger nearby the Kroger parking lot. This follows another one in a coffee shop on Kavanaugh. There are a lot more people walking on the streets in Hillcrest these days. That's a good thing. It's a sign of a vibrant neighborhood, but it also has created some late night opportunities for the criminal class. And finally, this piece of good news about an old friend of mine who died unbelievably 32 years ago in a tragic accident. Roosevelt Thompson, a library is named for him in Little Rock already. He went to Yale. He was on his way to be a Rhodes Scholar. They're naming the dining hall at Calhoun College at Yale University for him, and it's going to be done in formal fashion next week at Yale. It's a great moment. It was partially a resolution of a campus controversy over the fact that the dining hall in which Roosevelt Thompson studied and did so well is named for a slavery advocate, John Calhoun. They're keeping Calhoun's name, but they've taken down the stained glass windows of him, and they're going to put a very different sort of name on the dining hall that has Calhoun's name on the outside of the building, and that's Roosevelt Thompson. Rosie was a great guy. I'm Max Brantley.